Tuesday morning, I'm going to be honing on this wonderful Zulu Grey. Now, I have a feeling I must be punished. The reason being, I'm always in a rush and I couldn't even put the grey correct on the video title. G-R-A-Y as in Mr. Grey instead of G-R-E-Y instead of grey colour. Duh. Anyway, never mind that. I think you got the gist. So this has been trimmed, this beautiful stone. I've got to show you this. This is the paperwork that came with the stone all the way from Pretoria. And this is from Jaco Grobler. Thank you very much if you're watching, Jaco. You wouldn't believe the amount of detail they need. They got everything bar his shoe size. Bloody stupid bureaucracy. But anyway, absolutely wonderful. I just thought I'd mention the company name is, of course, Bunderbeard. This is Bunderbeard Jaco Grobler. Or Grobler. Anyway, let me get on. Look at all this. Bloody hell, I hate bureaucracy. So, let me get down to what we're going to do today, which is I want to get the feel of this wonderful new Zulu Grey. And the best way to do that is to use different steel, which is what I'm about, and different razors. So, taking a note from the great Devon Jackson, a lot of it is about how a stone and how the blade feels. So, what I did was I took these three beautiful razors. Now, I'll tell you a story about these if you're interested. I found a wonderful gentleman on eBay, Lawrence. Thank you, Lawrence, if you're watching this. Thank you so much. I bought a hell of a lot of stuff from him. Some of it is extremely good condition. This, for instance, is a Benz razor. This is a 6/8 Benz and it's a fascia bite. In other words, a good work. So the fascia bite costs Solingen, but all razors when they're left neglected for many years will start getting little corrosion pits on the edge. So first things first, I had to get those out. So this one was a particular swine. Now this one is a beautiful, beautiful little razor, 5/8 I believe. It's actually a Weltmeister. It's a Weltmeister with its original packing, but it had suffered a little bit. So I've had to go on my very powerful stone all the way through, many laps on that, all the way through to 3K. The reason I'm mentioning it is because, again, I did experiment with this very strange Captain tape. It's all right on the very, very high grit stones. It's completely useless on low grit. So, again, I tested it. It even wore through the tape on 3K. Not very good. So, it's a lovely fine tape. It has many advantages. It isn't oil soluble and falls apart like the black electrical tape. So, anyway, let's get on. So this is the one to put the most work on, and this is the Weltmeister. I've got to say, it looks in immaculate condition, but it wasn't. Anyway, I'm just going to show you another little discovery I made, which is the more razors you buy, the more work you have to do. Anyway, I've done the 3K. Here's a 5K. I've been using hand methods rather than putting it on my trusty rest. The reason being, when you're doing complicated curves, when you're doing a smiling blade, you do want to use both hands. But when you're doing something relatively simple, like a straight blade like this, I think that you can actually get away quite happily, as I am single-handed like this. So this is now driving up some swarf, as you can see, hopefully. Yes, I've had to get a little bit of wear on the spine, which I didn't want to do, but courtesy of the Captain tape failing, even though I was only very careful, I'm now putting tiny bits of wear on what was a factory edge. This was once a factory edge, so this was new old stock, but it had been neglected in its little packing case and got a little bit of rust. If you use a decent little binocular microscope, you can usually detect these things and put them right. So I'll show you that next. Anyway, I reckon that is now a 5k edge. I'm sure it is. So you can tell by the amount of swarf. The bevel has been set. I have no worries about that. So that's now 5k. However, the others aren't. Let's just put those. I'll show you one. Look at this. This is a beauty, isn't it? This is the bends. This bends with the beautiful gold fascia bite panel on it. This one didn't have very much corrosion at all. So just a little tiny touch on the 5k, just to revert from 3k to 5k, and you'll see why I'm doing all this in a second. The camera angle is all wrong, I do beg your pardon. So apart from the fact I can't spell, I think it's old age. Anyway, here we are. This is now, I'm going to call this now fine. I'm going to say that that is a 5k edge. I watched the marvellous Gary Hayward, my sensei, and he had the same problems as we all face every now and again, which is when you've got an edge, it doesn't quite feel right. So Gary put it on, as I often use, TI paste. It still didn't feel right. So he went to the stones. So he's done 5k all the way through. He's got a wonderful 10k Kaseki, which I'm in deep envy of. But I can't keep spending money. Anyway, I'm calling that done. We'll call that. And finally, the slightly smaller razor I wanted to show you guys, which is really unusual. It's a tennis. It's a 4/8 tennis. Clearly got the tennis logo on it. And this was also a labelled fascia bite. So, although most of it has unfortunately faded off, acid etchings when they're faint, you give them a polish and they're gone. Anyway, this one again had a little tiny bit of edge corrosion. I had to get that right. I'm now just going quickly on the 5k Shapton. And we're going to call that one good. The reason for boring you to tears with all this nonsense is I've yet to test the Zulu Grey. And this is my way of confirming the feel as well as, obviously, finally, the edge. So I'm going to call that okay. This is a very small, very neat little blade. This will be a beautiful little trimming razor. I have high hopes for it. Though having an alloy metal pair of scales is very odd. Right, let's call that done. Wash off the stone. Quickly go to 8k. This again is one of my favourites because when you're using a pale or a white stone, the swarf is very evident. So I'm going to call this a very quick test, chaps. So we'll call this one an 8k edge now. So we've gone 5. Originally we've gone 3, 5, 8. As you can see, you can use with a small blade, great precision. You needn't use a stone holder. At the same time, if this was a very complicated issue, if I had a great big nick in the edge, no, I would use the stone holder and I'd be more precise. But these are just tickles. So I'm going to call that an 8k edge. However, last but not least, this is the troublemaker. This is the one where it took quite a lot of effort, and unfortunately the Captain tape just couldn't stand it, it just gave way. So I'm going to very quickly, without boring you to death, go from 8k on this fine little blade. I must say again, absolutely beautiful. This is the Weltmeister, and again, very glad I've got it. Some of these I had to bid quite hard on to get, and then it's always a gamble the gamble is, has it got any severe problems? Has it got any warps? Has it got any corrosion on the edge? But usually these things are savable. So I'm going to call that now a 8K edge on the Ventmeister. And finally, last but not least, this is the real beautiful. This is the bends. I've got to say, very happy to get that. The lovely razor. Again, probably, it could be 1960s, 1970s. Can't say for certain, it could even be 1950s. Anyway, let me just quickly, this again had a better edge. This had tiny couple of little corrosion spots. Really, perhaps I'm being a bit overcautious, but corrosion is not just a little pit, it also alters the structure of the steel. The ions, the hydrogen ions and all the rest of it, all has an effect upon the steel, which is why you can't trust corroded steel. However, we all know that. That's now enough. This Captain tape on this particular blade, very effective by the way, so I'm not knocking Captain tape. It's very thin tape, but it doesn't dissolve under oil. Not that I've got any oil. So there you go. That's the I call this one, the bends, is now, call that an 8K edge. Anyway, just to show you what I get up to, bore you to tears. This is how I check them. A lightweight, mostly plastic, little binocular microscope. Switch him on. You can hold it one finger underneath, adjust so easily, and sure enough you get a very good picture. Yeah, that's okay, that edge. So that one, put that down. And now for the main test. The main test is, how is this going to feel on a South African Zulu Grey? Here's the Zulu Grey. It's already had, in fact, no, I'm not sort of being naughty here, but I do like to check my stones are going to be flat. So I did give it another flattening. And the old pencil that diamond plate, about 4,000 grit. So let's see how it feels. I'm going to use this little fellow first. I'm going to use this little metal handle job, and what I'm going to do is compare its feel from synthetic stones. Yeah, this is a very smooth stone. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, that feels nice. My strange rationale is that I want to compare the feel to other stones. So that is the Zulu Grey, which is a very nice, obviously grey to white slurry. Now that to me feels very similar to a Charnley Forest, which I've also got here. So here's the Charnley Forest. Charnley Forest is, I believe, in the vaculite. Let's comparison. Nope, the Charnley Forest has more teeth. It's a little tiny bit more gritty. Not a lot, but a bit. Okay, that's the feel in comparison now to a Charnley Forest. Very nice actually, nice stone. And then, there's another comparison. Welsh slate. This is the unpronounceable Lin Melolin. Let's give that a feel with the same razor. Oh, that's a nice feel. Hate to say it, but the Welsh slate does feel lovely. I like slates. This is just me messing about, guys. This is not a definitive test of any sort. And finally, let's give a real test. Arkansas translucent. Rough as a bear's backside. Well, I didn't expect that. Yeah, I worked up a slurry on it as well. So this is an Arkansas translucent with a very light slurry, and it feels very, very grippy. It also feels very, very gritty. Don't like it. Let's try it now with just water. Obviously smoother. Yeah, I've never been totally convinced by the Arkansas because they need a lot of work. So this is just a feel test. Nice and grippy. Oh, that is gripping nicely. Nice little translucent. Anyway, let's wash that one off and put it down. Oh, that's it seems to have been bought on the 18th of October 2022. Hasn't been used much, it's mint. So let's now try one more time as a comparison with another razor, because I'm pretty certain this one has done its job. Oh, blimey, that is sharp. Yeah, that's already to shave with. What edge do we call it? That's the question. At the moment, I'd call that an Arkansas edge. However, let's go to this beauty and try this on the Zulu Grey. I have to say, this is a big stone. Oh, thank you, Jaco. This is a big, big stone. Now, so far, people have told me it is a very kind, soft edge. So we'll soon find out. Yeah, I don't really like tape on a razor. You don't get the full feel. You're getting the feel of the tape as much as the steel. So I don't think I'll be using tape in future. I'm only using it now because these are, well, they're basically new old stock razors which had lain dormant in somebody's collection for a very long time. They have suffered very slightly from the occasional little tiny bit of corrosion on the edge, which is what we've now removed. And to put the tape on is respecting the very high finish of the edge of the spine, but really, does it matter? Probably not. So that is now what I'm going to call, as there's no real slurry, that coloration difference now. So this is a very, very hard stone, this Zulu Grey. It's not only hard, as you can probably see, very smooth, very hard, and there's no discoloration of the slurry at all. So it ain't moving any steel. Hopefully it's just putting on a nice, kind, natural edge. So I'm going to call that it for that one. I'll still use the slurry. And of course this one is the beast. This is the one which had the deep pits. This is of course the Weltmeister. And yeah, see there's no tape on this one, so, and it's giving a far better transmission of feel. Yeah, this is already sticking quite hard. Yeah, don't like tape. But as I had to beat the living whatsits out of this one's spine to get rid of the rather deep pits on the edge, I actually had to use my Kingstone, which is of course a 1K, and quite a lot of work. Hope it's worth it. Yeah, nice feel, very nice feel. So that's the Zulu Grey field test. Let's try it without slurry. There's always a little bit of residual slurry, but that's basically water. Yeah, that's interesting. Same as an Arkansasian feel. Let's compare that now to a Charnley forest. Here's the Charnley forest. They even look similar. Charnley forest feels very, very smooth. My goodness me, that is a smooth stone. This is an evaculite, wrongly mentioned in quite a few articles in the various groups as being, the first one I read actually, it said it was a slate, but of course it's not. But anyway, I was misinformed. It's very hard stone. Definitely an evaculite. And I'm going to call that done. Last but not least, as a comparison feel, what I want to do is use this nice slate. Beautiful purple slate, a fraction of the price as well. This is the Lin Melbourne, and this was just, I don't know, just a few quid. It's a beautiful slate, and I would say it will hold its own against anything. It's very smooth, it's very even. So what I'll do later, chaps, I shall do a shave test from a slate to the Charnley forest to the Zulu Grey. I won't count this because I know this is a lovely stone. I like slates. They're nice. They really are nice. So just because they're cheap doesn't mean they're not bloody good. Anyway, let's revert this poor thing back to the Zulu Grey, because this is basically still me trying out a Zulu Grey. Yeah, this is definitely a harder stone, as you'd expect. Can I call this the Zulu Grey edge? Yes, I bloody well can. I would say a few strokes will remove the scratch pattern from the last little effort on the Welsh Melbourne, whatever it's called. Why the Welsh put double L's in everything, I've no idea. However, yeah, that feels nice to me. So, that I'm going to call a Zulu Grey edge. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to leave the tape on for now, but I won't be using it in future. If you want to protect your spines, you've got to use tape. But they do remove the feel. I don't like the feel. Anyway, that's it, guys. That's 3 razors, 3 different edges, and hopefully we'll do a shave test and see which one is best. I'm hoping that this one, which is the Benz, which is a lovely, lovely razor, I'm hoping this one will give me a good shave of a Zulu Grey. We'll find out soon. Anyway, guys, that was it. Just me rabbiting on as usual. Sorry I haven't done very good camera angles. It's not my forte. I'm technically useless. I'm good with my hands. I'm not good with the brain. Anyway, hopefully you might have found this vaguely interesting, and I'll do a shave test later. So, Martin's Test Shaves. If you like this, do subscribe and give me a tick. I'll catch you guys later. Bye for now.